my name is Mark, Mark from Denmark, if you want to look me up. Easy to find, easy to remember. Let me ask you a question, perhaps. Let's start there. How many of you think crypto and DeFi is the future?
Way.
Everyone. Good place to start. Okay, so how many of you have also used a centralized exchange, let's say this year, in 2025? Yeah, so most of you, more than half-ish. That's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Like, we have the true believers in this room and in this conference, and yet we are still using heavily centralized exchanges, centralized entities, maybe not on a daily basis, but quite often to get into crypto, into DeFi. That's what Rujira is here to really solve, finally. There's been a lot of promises made in DeFi and crypto in general. Rujira is here to deliver at least on some of those promises going forward. So right now, if you look at DeFi, it's just a mess. It's fragmented. You have all these different chains. You have all these different wallets. If you want to do something on Ethereum, you might use MetaMask. Then you want to start doing something in Solana. Then you use, I don't know, Phantom. They don't really talk to each other. You don't have gas. Like, there's all these issues with fragmentation across chains, across wallets. And let alone that, there's scams and meme coins and all these things, precedents rocking us. To be able to connect all these different things, we use bridges and wrapped assets, which heavily rely on centralized entities, custodians, etc., which kind of goes against what we're trying to build here. So if you're asking me, DeFi is not only a mess, it's quite broken right now at this stage. So, welcome to the Omnichain. Welcome to what Rujira is building. We're building on top of Thorchain. For anyone who's been around for some time, will recognize Thorchain and the Room token. Essentially, what you can do on Rujira is go to the UI on, for example, the portfolio page, connect all your different wallets. So what I'm showing here is OKX and Trust Wallet, but you can also connect MetaMask, Kepler, Cosmos ecosystem, Leap, a bunch of different wallets, connect them all. Don't just connect one wallet like you are used to other ecosystems. Connect everything and it will just stack it up. So it will show all your Avalanche addresses, all your Bitcoin addresses, Ethereum addresses, etc. So just one place for all your wallets, if you will. Just like you've seen on centralized exchanges, you might not have multiple wallets on a centralized exchange, but at least you have a long list of assets and networks that you can connect with. And that's really what we're gunning for. We are trying to build the place that can replace essentially the Binances of the world, the Krakens of the world, etc. So any chain, any wallet, and hypothetically, when there's liquidity, any token. So as I mentioned, we are building on top of Thorchain. Thorchain has been running for 8 years plus. So this is not just something we are taking out of our ass. We're building on top of something that's been running for a very long time. Right now, Thorchain has compatibility with 9 different blockchains. Planning to scale that up, adding 2 more chains every month throughout this year. So yeah, this is a battle-tested system, a battle-tested ecosystem and tech stack that's been running for a long time, doing a lot of volume. Which obviously gives us a head start when we are deploying all these different applications. So what are these applications? Oh, sorry, that's the next one. Let's talk a little bit about the history, how we got here, because what we're introducing it's not something we just built recently. We've gone through multiple iterations, let's call it that, bumps on the road, extension events, you can call it whatever you want. So Rujira was the original project, or harpoon, if you want to go way back in history, starting on Terra. That didn't go so well. Rujira created its own blockchain, the Rujira blockchain, which had a liquidation event last year, which meant we were migrating all the applications to Thorchain, which is what we're doing now. And then, of course, in the beginning of this year, Thorchain had its own issues with ThorFi, which blew up. So there's been multiple iterations, tweaks that we had to do to build a resilient ecosystem. The good thing about this is that there's hardly any problem that we can face right now that we haven't seen before. And we can get over that as well going forward. So Rujira is really the next evolution instead of Kujira. So Rujira because the token for 4chain is room. So just replace one letter, easy. And as I mentioned, Rujira is the app layer, not just for 4chain, but for any blockchain that 4chain integrates with, being the DeFi app layer that you ever need to use. So what does that mean? What are the apps that will be on this app layer? So there will be all the trading and liquidity products that you are used to probably by now, and order book decks, liquidity pools, Herb exchange. There will be lending and stablecoins, money market, BTC-backed stablecoins is what we are considering. Maybe using the ticker UST, who knows? And then actually the OG product or application that was built by Kujira, the liquidation market, which obviously we're also bringing over. And then a bunch of different specialized primitives, Launchpad, NFTs, options. I mean, the list just goes on. You can imagine your own application from any other ecosystem. We want to build something that is comparable to that on the app layer. And yeah, some people have asked me also at this conference multiple times, like, how do I access all this? Really, you can access it from any client that you use to desktop, mobile. AI terminal is getting popular with an interface like ChatGPT, where you can ask a prompt and then we'll just do stuff on the app layer for you. So a very integrated ecosystem, maximizing value creation, very unified experience, just like you know it from Binance, etc. You don't have to go to 12 different chains and use 5 different wallets. You just use one place, one UI, to do everything you need. Now the difference, of course, between us and a Binance of the world, or Kraken of the world, is that we have a token, the Ruji token, which you can stake and get 100% of the fees generated on that network. Now I say 100%, so for those of you who are following Rujira, you will know that we have to pay now for security, a tax essentially, to the 4chain network, because we're running on the 4chain network. So 50% of that goes to the bond providers of 4chain, and then the rest go to Ruji stakers. This has also been the case in Kujira, for any of you who knows about Kujira. Zero inflation, and everything goes to the Kuji or Ruji staker. To go a little bit behind the scenes, there's a lot of plumbing happening. You might ask, like, why go through all this trouble? Why have this one place to rule them all, one-stop shop, all these things? Well, because there's a lot of benefits of all these different integrations and cool stuff you can do between the products. All this is something that happens in Binance and all that. That's why they're printing so much money, because they make fees on every step of the way, every sort of transaction between all these different products and contracts. There's usually some fee generation event. So we will obviously mimic that and optimize the user experience, make all this plumbing behind the scene, abstract that away. But it's just to say that there's a lot of this plumbing that provides a lot of fee generation opportunity without really sacrificing on the user experience. You can actually improve on the user experience. So for any of you who wants to dive into some of this, feel free to ask questions afterwards. But yeah, this is what's happening behind the scenes. There's a lot of interactions, a lot of fees between the different contracts. Now the market that we're targeting is obviously huge. You can just look at when Bybit gets hacked and then they just magically find 1.5 billion to just buy the ETH that was stolen from them, just laying around. This is a big market, right? There's a lot of money to be made. Again, important for me to say, all that fee generation and money coming in is going to the stakers, to the Ruji stakers. So yeah, I'm not going to go through the numbers. I think we all know that there's a huge opportunity. The valuation of all these different markets for all these different products that we're launching is in the realms of $75 billion, and annualized like the revenue generated across these different markets It's about $3.6 billion. So pretty big opportunity for anyone who becomes a leader in the DeFi space. Of course, if we compare ourselves to everybody else, we kick ass. We're much better than everybody else. You'd be surprised if it was different, of course. But no, to be a little more serious, obviously on these parameters, we've cherry-picked them on things where we beat them. So yeah, you can obviously pick and choose the different metrics that you want to compare yourself to. But if decentralization is important to you, if a unified UX is important for you, if it's important for you to be able to use multiple chains and multiple wallets, Rujira is a pretty damn good option for you. Just to touch upon a little bit of the AI stuff that's happening, we all know about the different models that's going to run the world and make all of us humans just do whatever we want, I guess, and let the AIs run the world. We will make our own chat interface, abstracting away all the complexity really, and just send prompts instead of clicking around in the UI. We are building the Omnichain for humans and machines, as we like to say. So yeah, really just making it super easy for maybe not this generation, but at least the next generation who grows up in just prompting ChatGPT for anything. They will be able to access this and use DeFi super easily across all different chains. So yeah, in a nutshell, no bullshit, real value. There's been a lot of promises made in crypto and DeFi in general. We've been here for a long time. We've gone through multiple different extension events. We've seen most, if not all, that this industry has to offer. We're here to build. We're still standing, and we will continue to build until we deliver on this promise of building sort of the one-stop shop for all things DeFi across any chain, any wallet, and if there's liquidity, any token. Thank you so much. Scan the QR code to follow us on Twitter so you can see when we open up for the different contracts and products. But yeah, thank you for listening, guys.